This podcast is brought to you by PodPro Australia.
Social media, Google, email marketing, systems, website traffic, and the endless content creation that comes with marketing. It's overwhelming, right? Say goodbye to endless stress and hello to clarity with the Meaningful Marketing Podcast. In this podcast, I will share with you fast and free practical methods to help you manage, monetize, and market your business, all infused with a healthy dose of motivation. Let's do this. Hey, this is Chantal, Gerardy, and you are listening to another episode of the Meaningful Marketing Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics to talk about, and that is on how to craft high-converting call to actions in your social media. Call to actions can drive sales. It can turn passive engagement on social media into meaningful traffic to your website. So how do you create compelling call to actions? Now, a lot of people seem to think that call to actions is like a hard sell at the end of every post. And let me just say it is not. To me, I like to call it a next step, because if you don't have that call to action at the end and you're providing great content all the time, people just access your good content and they just scroll past it. And they never actually look at what that next step is because you've never guided them to take it. So creating compelling call to actions is the cornerstone of any successful marketing strategy. It is absolutely imperative that every single piece of content that you do, whether it's a blog, whether or not it's a social media post, whether or not it is an email, that it has a cleverly crafted call to action that guides your audience towards a specific action that you want them to take. That is in accordance with your overall strategy. So whether it is that you want them to subscribe to a newsletter, download a resource, make a purchase, private message you, book a call, go to the website, click a link in the bio. So whatever that call to action is, you do need to take into consideration what platform you are on and what stage of the buyer's journey the buyer is in, so that it is relevant to that person for maximum effectiveness. So today I'm going to talk about why call to actions are essential, how to craft them for different platforms and personality types, when to use them, and what language works best. Yes, your language can make all the difference when it comes to a call to action. So why are call to actions essential for marketing sales? So a call to action isn't just a button or a link. It's a driving force behind your marketing message. It gives your audience clear instructions on what to do next, whether it's learning more, making a purchase, signing up for a service, whatever it is. At the end of the day, without an effective call to action, your audience may consume your content and just remain passive. A strong call to action increases engagement, encourages action, and ultimately drives sales. And that's why crafting the perfect call to action is critical for every piece of content that you do in your overall marketing strategy. So how do you tailor your call to actions for different platforms and personality types? So each marketing platform has its own style, its purpose, and user behavior. For instance, what works on Instagram stories won't necessarily work on LinkedIn. Beyond platform preferences, tailoring call to actions to different personality types is also important. So some of you may have heard of this before, but it's called disc profiling type. If you haven't, go back and have a look at one of my other podcast episodes where we talk about this. But it is really important to consider the personality type of your audience, okay? Because optimizing your call to actions based on personality types can significantly improve conversion rates. So an example of this was Tony Robbins is known, and I may not get this 100% correct, but Tony Robbins is known for changing his language to better speak to each of the 4 personality types in DISC while he's presenting. So the 4 personality types are D for dominant, I for influential, S for steady, and C for conscientious. And we're all a little blend of all of them, but we have to make sure that we have to accommodate all the personality types when we're actually creating our call to actions. So when your audience is in the awareness stage, They're just becoming aware of your brand or your service. So softer call to actions like learn more or explore our services, they work better, especially for conscientious or steady personality types who need more time and information to make a decision. Now, in the consideration stage, where your audience is weighing up their options, using call to actions like download this free guide or see how we compare can appeal to those who are ready for deeper engagement. So, for example, this would work well with your influential and your conscientious types. And then in the decision stage, this is where the dominant personalities shine because they prefer call to actions like get results now or claim your discount today, which are direct and action orientated. However, for a steady personality type in the decision stage, they prefer something along the lines of, we're happy to support you through the decision-making process because they don't like to be forced into making a decision. So your call to actions, how you label your buttons, where you send them is absolutely, the language that you use is absolutely important. So let's talk about your website, sales pages, and blogs. So why are call to actions important? Well, on your website and blogs, you're obviously educating and hoping to convert potential leads. So you need multiple call to actions strategically placed throughout your website and your blogs to guide the user through their journey. So if we're looking at the different personality types, let's look at some of the language that we could use. So for the dominant personality type, you could use a call to action like boost your revenue today or achieve results now. So dominant personality types want fast, direct outcomes. Now, the influential personality types, they prefer language like join our thriving community or share your story because they seek interaction and recognition. The steady personality types prefer discover how we can help or get support every step of the way because they need reassurance when making a decision. And for the conscientious group, they want to see our complete process or learn the proven method. So they need all the details before committing. So you can use your call to actions at the top of your website, in the middle, and at the end. And blogs, the perfect place to put a call to action is at the conclusion. You just want to make sure that you experiment with the language that you use behind each of the buttons and then have a look at your Google Analytics and see which ones are actually converting or working better. So let's talk about social media and call to actions. Why are call to actions important on social media? Well, social media drives engagement and encourages users to take the next step in the buyer's journey. I always say one of the biggest fundamentals of social media marketing is to get people the hell of social media, and that is onto your website and into an email list. So tailored call to actions encourage interaction and conversation, but they do need to align with the tone and function of not only the audience, but also the platform. So let's have a look at Facebook and Facebook groups. So you could encourage community engagement with call to actions like comment below or join our group for exclusive tips. Or for Facebook pitching, you could try, get started today or learn more. On Instagram, for post stories and reels, you could keep it simple and visual. So for example, you could use stickers or GIFs. So call to actions like swipe up for more or tap to learn more work well in stories and reels. For posts on Instagram, you could use check the link in the bio or DM for more info. So you can see there it has to be relevant to the type of content that you're producing and the platform that you're on. Number 3 is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn caters to a professional audience. So use call to actions like download this free industry report or connect for a strategy session. YouTube. Use call to actions both verbally and in the description. So verbally throughout your video and then in the written content in the description. So for example, you could say subscribe now for weekly updates or click the link in the description for your free guide. These are perfect examples. The good thing about YouTube is that you can actually format these in a YouTube signature and then they'll automatically post to all your content. So number 5 is Pinterest. On Pinterest, you could be looking for aspirational call to actions like start planning your dream project or discover how to. These resonate well with this platform's visual and idea-driven nature. So again, how do you write for different personality types? So for the D personality type, it's get results now. Click to take action. For influential personality types, it's join the conversation. We want to hear from you. For the steady personality type, find out how we support you step by step. And for conscientious, learn the facts, download the full guide. All right, let's talk about email marketing. And we're going to talk about also the difference between newsletters and campaigns because newsletters are newsworthy, and campaigns are strategic. So I think it's really important to know where these boats sit in your content marketing. So email marketing is crucial for nurturing leads and encouraging conversations. Whether it's a regular newsletter or a specific campaign, call to actions guide the reader towards the next step. So when it comes to newsletter call to actions, these are often softer or geared towards continued engagement. So an example could include read the full article or explore more tips. But for campaign call to actions, these are more conversion focused and more urgent. So you could use language like claim your 20% today or get exclusive access now. So let's look at some more examples for the different personality types. So for D personality type, unlock your exclusive discount now. For the I's, be the first to know, join our VIP list. For the steady personality types, stay connected, we're here to help. Conscientious, download the complete guide to see the details. So in newsletters, place your call to actions near the top to grab early attention, but also include them throughout the email. In email campaigns, make the call to action prominent and direct, using persuasive language that matches the offer. Also do this by hyperlinking the URL and including it in a button. So what I like to do in my emails is make sure that I have a button, but I also hyperlink words that click to the URL. I also don't like them clicking off the page to too many things. I only want them clicking off to the most important thing. So I keep my links to a minimum to make sure that strategically they're going to where I want them to go. Let's talk about call to actions in podcast, why the call to actions are important. So podcasts are a highly engaging format, and they guide listeners to deeper connections. So again, for call to actions, for D personality types, we could say subscribe now to never miss an episode. So if you out there fancy yourself a D personality type like myself, please go and subscribe now to never miss another episode of the Meaningful Marketing Podcast. For influential, they might say something like, join our community for exclusive bonus content. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description and you can join our community for exclusive bonus content and free resources. For the steady personality types, you want to ask them to follow us for more helpful insights. So make sure that you've gone and followed the Meaningful Marketing Podcast. And for the conscientious, we want to say visit the show notes for detailed resource. So if you haven't already, pop down into the show notes and have a look. We've got a link through to our website with a whole bunch of free resources that you can access. So use verbal call to actions at the beginning, middle, and end of each episode. And I'm probably not very good at this one. And you want to direct listeners to your website, your social channels, or your special offers, ensuring repetition for stronger conversions. So if you haven't already, download free resources on the website or subscribe to get our weekly content that we send out. If you haven't already followed me on social media, pop into Facebook. Facebook's my primary platform. It's Chantal Gerardy, Online Business Marketing. And even send me a private message and let me know what content you'd like me to create. All right, let's look at Linktree. Linktree. I love Linktree. Linktree's great. However, just remembering that if you use Linktree as a link, you are then not sending people to your website, which does affect your website traffic. However, if you don't have a website, Linktree is really good to do this. If you do have a website, I recommend that you create a Linktree style one page on your website, because at least then you've got traffic on your website. So platforms like Linktree offer quick access to multiple resources, making the call to action language crucial for guiding users to the desired action. So you could use the link to your Linktree platform. And for D personality type, you could say something like get your free guide now. The I's, you could say join our VIP list today. The S's could be discover how we can support you. And the conscientious could be see our detailed services. Keep it concise and action focused, ensuring the call to action leads to specific pages rather than vague links. So make sure that if you've got a Linktree, or whether or not you've set up a Linktree style thing on your website, make sure that you don't have too many places for them to go, and make sure that you've turned off the links that are no longer relevant in your Linktree. I know this one person, they've got about 30 links on there, and I know when you get on there, you get so lost, you get so confused. It's like, I don't even know where to go or what to do, and you end up not doing anything, because a confused mind buys nothing or does nothing. So yeah, you want to make sure. I think the rule is something around 5 to 7 is the most links that you should have in a Linktree, and they should of course be well titled. Okay, so how to use language to optimize your call to actions. Well, the language you choose for your call to actions is essential, as I've spoken about throughout today's presentation. You can see that based on the different personality types, you want to make sure that you're using a mixture of all the different language as well. Because at the end of the day, it's about your audience and how they perceive the offer and whether or not it aligns with their needs, and they're going to take action on it. So instead of saying something like subscribe to our newsletter, you could say get access to proven marketing hacks delivered weekly, or unlock exclusive marketing tips to grow your business. Instead of buy now, you could say get your complete marketing toolkit today. So using action-orientated and benefit-driven language like unlock or access, discover, or get speaks to the user's desire for value, making them more likely to click. And of course, adding a sense of urgency with using words like now, today, limited time, further boosts conversion potential. So effective call to actions are critical for turning passive engagement into meaningful actions, whether it's on social media, your website, or in your email marketing. A well-placed and tailored call to action can drive conversions, increase engagement, and ultimately lead to sales. So by aligning the call to action with your platform and your audience's personality type and the stage in their buyer's journey, you can create a seamless experience that will guide them from discovering you. So ultimately, as I said, the number one role is to get them off social media. So by not putting in a next step or call to action, they will simply do nothing. They will consume your content and do absolutely nothing. So I challenge you to go and have a look at the end of all your posts, at blogs, emails, and have a look at the call to actions you're using and do a call to action audit and go, what is some of the language that I can use, or what are some of the words that we can use to better tailor our call to actions? And of course, if you get stuck, go back, listen to this podcast again, make sure you've got your pen and paper with you, and jot down the suggestions that we've given you here today. This has been another episode of the Meaningful Marketing Podcast. I hope today that you take action on this one thing, because it is the difference between people just looking at your stuff or taking action on your stuff. This is Chantal Gerardy, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for listening in. Meaningful marketing is all about you making your marketing meaningful. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please hit that subscribe button. But subscribing means that you won't miss out on future episodes all about marketing and motivation. Stay inspired, stay focused, and make your marketing meaningful.